Everyone's shouting online, God is real, God is fake, prove it. Endless debates, endless egos, endless logic looping back on itself. But what if I told you, all of these arguments, every single one are just echoes of how our minds were programmed to think. It's not your real thoughts. Today, we're going deeper beyond belief, beyond religion, into the very roots of how we perceive God. We're going to discuss in a psychological, philosophical, spiritual, and scientific aspects. So be with me for a few minutes, this might change your perception. Let's start. First, we're going to talk about how beliefs and faiths forms with psychological aspects. Let's start with something many people ignore. Belief is not born. It's programmed. Human decision and perception are not truly free. Our brains are automated machines. They collect information from the world around us, especially in childhood. What we hear, see, feel, forms billions of neural connections that shape our logic and perception. So when a child grows up in a Christian environment, that logic becomes their truth. When a person heard many stories, cases, and sees the praying rules process since childhood, his mind develops some type of phenomena which made him feel overwhelmed when he experienced anything related to God. It feels real. And it is real to them. The same applies to Hindus, Muslims, or anyone raised in a different faith. Different surroundings, different data, different logic. And all of them feel emotionally and logically valid to the person experiencing them. Now, let's talk about how people becomes atheists. People grow up in the same society, same world, but their brain doesn't accept the logic behind God. Why? Because the version of God that was presented to them felt shallow, too many loopholes, too many unanswered questions. They searched for scientific explanations, read critical texts, or listened to rational thinkers. And when no one could answer why, they stopped believing. It's not their fault. They just followed the same brain process, data in, logic out. So what about me? Am I a believer? Yes. Maybe my brain was wired that way. But more than faith, I found logic, my own logic, that led me to believe. Although, can I even say more logical? After all, logic is personal. What feels logical to one might sound crazy to another. Still, I'll try to explain my perspective. Maybe it'll resonate with you. It's time to explore the most repeated argument. If everything was created by God, then who created God? Believers respond, God wasn't created. He existed before time. Then non-believers ask, if God can exist by himself, why can't the universe? My answer? You're both right and both wrong. No one's lying. They're simply explaining what their minds are capable of understanding. And that's the issue, we don't really understand what God is. First, I will talk about what God is not. Let's begin here. God is not a being like us. He doesn't have a brain that follows patterns. He doesn't like one person and dislike another. He has no image, no shape, no favorites. Most people imagine God as a human-like figure because that's what stories told us. But that's just storytelling. Maybe God is entirely unimaginable, a concept far beyond our brain's capacity. Now let's discuss all those religious stories. Are those real? Now you might ask, what about miracles? Jesus, Krishna, Ramayana, prophets, fairies? Here's my honest thought. Maybe they're real, but not in the way we understand them today. Have you ever played that game Whisper Chain, where one person whispers a sentence and by the end, the message is totally different? Maybe that's what happened to religious stories. Passed down for thousands of years, through interpretations, translations, and emotions. The essence might be true, but the form might be very different. So who's right? Which religion is true? Hindu, Muslim, Christian, atheist? Here's my view. It doesn't matter who's right, as long as your belief makes you a better human being. If your religion gives you peace, purpose, compassion, then it's right for you. Because in the end, all religions point to one thing: a creator, a source, an energy that connects everything. Different names, same essence. Finally, let's talk about my truth. Why I believe God exists. So here's my truth. Why I believe in God and how I see him. Every thought, emotion, and experience I have comes from the unique neural network inside my brain. But that brain, that consciousness is connected to something infinite. Call it God, call it energy, call it consciousness. If we zoom into every object, every life form, down to its smallest particle, what's left? Energy. That energy can't be destroyed. It only changes form. To me, that energy is God. It's in everything, powers everything. It witnesses everything. It doesn't have a face. It doesn't need rituals. It simply is. Now, conclusion and my final massage is, the point of this video isn't to convert you. It's not even to prove I'm right. It's to remind you God exists, but maybe not how we think. And whether you believe in God, follow a religion, or question everything, if your path makes you kind, peaceful, motivated, and honest, then you're already connected to the divine. If this gave you a new perspective, let me know in the comments. And if you believe there's more to reality than meets the eye, hit subscribe. We're just getting started.